You're hanging out with the crew of Demon 305, and we're at the beautiful Miami-Dade Kendall campus with none other than President Bryan Stewart. Thanks so much, sir.
Thank you. Great to be with you. Yeah, awesome.
There's so much to talk about. We can talk about your presidency. We can talk about the campus, but we want to start with your life. Where does the story of Bryan begin?
Well, I was born and raised in Texas. Native Texan. Yeah.
I see the North Texas diploma up there.
Yeah. I grew up was born in West Texas, grew up in East Texas, and went to college at a school called Tarleton State University, where I played college basketball.
Okay.
And so my dad was a university president, so I guess higher education was in my blood. And after playing college basketball, I didn't really know what to do with it. So I had a degree in mathematics, and I went and got my degrees at North Texas and fell in love with the community college world and started teaching math and ended up here.
What was Bryan like in high school? What were you doing? What were you into? Of course, basketball. What was that like?
I was a little bit of a nerd, I guess.
Okay.
I loved math and science. But Tyler was a very integrated town, I guess I'd say, and I had a lot of friends, a lot of social things. Basketball was kind of the sport, and so it was a lot of fun growing up in a small town where you knew everybody. There were two high schools in the town, and we were big rivals, big 6A high schools, and so it was a lot of fun. High school's a lot different today than when I was in it, but it was a great place to grow up, safe, and a lot of fun.
When you were graduating, at what point did you know I want to play basketball at the collegiate level?
Well, I actually wanted to play at the NBA level.
Okay.
And they didn't have many overseas teams at the time, or I probably would have gone overseas. But I grew up in a little small town. We moved to a small town north of Fort Worth, and I first started playing basketball in like 5th grade and just fell in love with it because of the strategy and the team aspect of it, and went to a really big high school where we had 4,000 or 5,000 students at games. Fans.
Wow.
And so just the thought of playing college basketball was everything to me.
I love that, because I think we rarely get to hear those stories, right? Of you can be the athlete and you can also be into school and in the books. So you're having this experience, you're in graduate school, and you've mentioned your father, throughout the interview. How impactful was your dad in you growing up?
Oh, very, very. But both of my parents had college degrees and masters. My dad a PhD, and when I grew up in Tyler, he was the founding president of the University of Texas at Tyler. So I got to see him open the school, and in those days, I'm just being a kid. I'm playing basketball. I'm doing all the things that we do when we're kids,
of course.
Not realizing the impact he had on my life. And when I got into teaching, I'm like, well, I'm just going to teach. He goes, now you can get your PhD. I'm like, I'm going to teach. I've been in school for however many years. He was very influential, I don't think we realize how impactful our parents are sometimes.
Yeah.
And his degrees are a lot different than mine. Mine are more in the STEM world, but he was very influential and is still influential to me.
We're excited because we've done a lot of cool interviews, but I think you're the first person that has a PhD. So it's pretty cool that we get to have this PhD conversation.
As you have one too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right.
Talk to me a little bit about the dissertation, because that thing is a pain in the ass.
The coursework.
I want people to hear this.
The master's was the hardest degree I ever got.
Really?
The coursework in math. I was taking topology, advanced statistics, all these crazy courses. The PhD coursework was a lot more fun, and I fell in with a major professor who I took a course called Surviving the Dissertation. So I actually got to write the first 2 chapters with him. But he was very helpful. But then once you get to chapter 2, you're on your own. You have to. He can only help you solve our methodology.
Yeah.
And so it was hard. It's a hard work. It's not easy. And
it's not easy, yeah.
So many people get to that point and don't finish because
I think it's like over 50%, right?
Yeah,
we'll finish
I think that's right.
And
it's because you don't have someone there. You're not in a classroom with it. You're on your own. You got to teach yourself and lead yourself. But what about your experiences? What have you?
Oh man, I think starting the dissertation was one of the most difficult components, and I think it was during the pandemic. So you're writing, and Zoom was becoming more popular. I love the intimacy of being a full-time student. There's something about just being in the office every day, talking to your professors, jumping into their office whenever you want.
Right.
And I think grabbing drinks with my professors was probably the
Me too.
best part,
Me too.
because there's an education that goes on in those spaces that you don't get in the classroom.
No.
So I'm forever thankful for that. So
I had the exact same experience. We'd go for drinks and talk, and it was more not about the dissertation, it was about philosophy and higher education.
Yeah.
And it's
So we have this kid who grows up in this small town in Texas, right? You matriculate from undergrad and graduate school. How in the world do you become a campus president in Kendall, in Miami, coming from Texas, from pastor parties to Kendall? How does that happen?
well. So the year I graduated with my master's, that summer I coached and worked in a school, and the Friday before classes started at Tarrant County College, which is the school in Fort Worth, one of the math faculty was pregnant. Said, "I'm staying home. I'm quitting." So I got a call on Friday and started classes on Monday to teach.
Wow.
And so I taught for 10 years at Tarrant County College in the math department there. I was chair and all. And then I got promoted to the dean and opened a brand new campus in South Arlington. And then I did that for about 13 years. And then I got promoted to be the vice president of instruction. So I got that campus open, and we were the fastest growing campus in the country. And about the year and a half in, our chancellor came to me and said, "Okay, Bryan, we're going to merge our nursing program and our allied health program, and we're going to bring them to the Green River campus." And in Florida, I guess it would be like UM versus FSU. In Texas, it's Aggies versus the Longhorns.
Okay.
They didn't get along. So I brought them to the downtown campus, built a simulation hospital, added 13 new programs.
This is a massive undertaking.
Yeah, it was a huge undertaking. And and the other thing that I had done is every academic role, I'd start as a faculty all the way up to the vice president. So I'd been every leadership role. And one Monday, I got a call from a search firm. I hadn't applied, and they'd heard about me and said, "Hey, there's a position open in Miami that we think you'd be good for." So I had a 20-minute call with this search firm lady. She goes, "I want you to talk to my boss." So the next day, I talked to him for an hour and 20 minutes. He hung up, called me back, and said, "We want to fly you to Miami
Wow.
next Tuesday to interview with the provost and campus president, one of the campus presidents who's now our current provost, Dr. Harrison."
What was it about Miami that kind of drew you in?
Miami was a scary place compared to Texas, to be honest. with you.
Everyone's speaking Spanish.
Yeah. Funny you say
Different
that.
types of Spanish.
So that's exactly right. I had 5 years of Spanish in high school, and in my interview with the provost and the campus president, I mentioned that I could speak Spanish, and they go, "Oh, we'll put the rest of this interview in Spanish." And I'm like, "Oh, no, let's not do that." Tex-Mex is a lot different than the Spanish spoken here.
Of course. When it comes to the Kendall campus, what are some of your goals? What would you like to see?
Well, the greatest thing, there's many great things about this campus. First of all, the people and the staff and the faculty are just incredible. Being from Texas, I have a little different perspective on things and a little more customer service and Texas mentality, but also having the athletics here. We have all the athletic programs here. It's been an incredible opportunity to have those. But now I'm with the academic people, and that's really what's in my DNA. And so I love talking to our students. We have some great honors students and all sorts of great programs, presidential scholars, rising scholars, all these great programs.
For those young people who are watching and follow Demon 305, when you talk about this current role that you're in, it seems like it's just such an organic fit for you. How do you kind of explain, like, when you know, to young kids who are graduating from college, like when you kind of find a position that's right for you? How do you kind of explain that and encourage people to find that?
One of my goals on this campus is to try to spread that to my team. I don't want them to ever leave this place thinking, "Oh, what a terrible day." I mean, we all take our things home with us. We all have dreams. We all, but I want them to love coming to work, because that's what I do. And I think that's when I knew teaching was what I loved doing, was coming to work. I couldn't wait to get to the classroom, because I couldn't wait for that student to say, "Why do we have to do math? Why do we have to factor? Why do we have to do the I mean, and I have an answer for that." And so I think that's when you know you have the right position. When you're excited to go to work, and when you go home, you don't take it with you necessarily, if you know what I mean.
President Stewart, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah,
we appreciate you. Can't wait to see what you do.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you guys.
That's it.